Story 4. So this is actually not one story. This is a plethora of stories from a AskReddit
Okay.
subreddit called Parents of Reddit, what is the creepiest thing your child has ever said to you? So I went through and pulled a quite a few really creepy good ones. I'm sure there are a ton more in the subreddit, but like there are thousands of comments.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in for how much we've been talking about this episode. There are thousands of comments of parents talking about creepy things that their kids have said, and they get weird. So we'll start with the first one. I was tucking in my 2-year-old. He said, "Goodbye, Dad." I said, "No, we say goodnight." He said, "I know, but this time, it's goodbye." I had to check on him a few times to make sure he was still there.
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye! So that's the first one. We're starting off nice and light, you know?
Oh, that's like
It's a little
cute.
creepy. It's not too bad. It's one of those things where it's like, okay,
No, it's
she
weird,
learned a new
buddy.
word today.
Yeah.
While changing our daughter in front of the open closet door, she kept looking around me and laughing. I asked her what was so funny. She said, "The man." To which I replied, "What man?" She then pointed at the closet and said, "The man with a snake neck." I turned around and nothing was there. I was afraid to look in the history of my house to see if anyone hung themselves in the closet. At least she wasn't scared.
Bent neck, lady ass kind of story. That's freaky.
Yup.
Ooh.
Yeah, kids can see that shit. So
Yeah.
like, I would not put that past it. My coworker's 4-year-old daughter always thought the rattling of the water pipes in the kitchen cupboards were white wolves, and the sound would always scare her. One day, she was sitting at the kitchen table and said, "Mom, white wolves aren't bad. They're our friends." Her mom encouraged the idea by saying, "Yes, the white wolves are protecting us. They're our friends." Then her daughter added in, "They're our friends, but not the man who crawls on the floor and stands by my bed."
Oh, what thing? Maybe I don't want kids. I'd be like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Cameras everywhere.
I need to install cameras in every inch of your room now. Okay. That's what I'm hearing. I also need to hire a priest to come in and bless the house. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm hearing. So that's great. Okay.
And I'm like, how does he crawl? Like, I don't want to know, but I kind of need to know.
Yeah, this is very important information.
Is it like kind of upside down, or are we just like,
is he slugging like a
normal?
snake?
Yeah.
Like, is he like a dog?
Is he a shadow? Like, what are we talking about?
Does he have full facial features? I work in a preschool. Creepy shit gets said and done all the time. The one thing that sticks out happened last year. There's a small kitchenette area in our classroom that the kids use during their free time for playing house or whatever pretend games they think up. There was one little girl that I was keeping a close eye on, mostly because of how withdrawn from the other kids she was. I noticed she was playing with a baby doll in the kitchenette, rocking it back and forth and singing to it. She then took the baby, shoved it into the play oven, and slammed the door shut. She turned around, looked straight at me, and said, "Sometimes bad babies go in timeout," in the creepiest little girl voice I've ever heard before smiling and running off. That reminded me of... I put that one in there because of
It's funny.
but...
Yeah. That made me think of, there's this one time, he was the sweetest little boy. But I don't know why he was doing it. There was a little kitchenette. There's, little like forks and knives for the dish set. And there's this sweet little Eleanor was just laying on her mat reading her book. And he comes over with the kitchen knife and he's walking so slow as he can, going, "He, he, he." And she goes, "No!"
God.
What did you watch Halloween? What are you doing? Like,
Psycho? Like...
Stop. No. We're not playing that. Whatever you're playing, stop it.
Okay. Next one is kind of long. Trigger warning for talks of self-harm. My father tells me the story of my childhood every once in a while. When I was around 6 years old, my dad's best friend ended his life. We'll call him Joe for the sake of the story. Obviously, it was a very rough and emotional time for my dad. Joe was my dad's best man at his wedding, the one guy who was always there for him. After my dad got married, he and my mother left Joe and the town they were in to start a life outside the town they grew up in. After years of moving around California, the family eventually moved to Utah, where my father worked for a successful internet business. Joe stayed behind in Washington. Because my family were so far away from their old life with Joe, There wasn't a lot of foresight or warning that Joe intended on ending his life. Joe's sister apparently had been blaming Joe's wife for her brother's ending. Joe and his wife drank a lot of booze, and probably as a result fought a lot. My father also said that they were a passionate couple. Yes, they would fight often, but he hardly knew two other individuals who were so completely in love. For this reason, he didn't believe it. A few days after Joe ended his life, his widow called up my father sobbing about how she thought it was her fault. After about an hour of trying to console her, he told her, if there was a way for me to talk to Joe right now, I guarantee you that he could tell you that he loved you and that it wasn't your fault that he ended his life. Crying, she still didn't believe him, but she thanked him for the kind words and let my father go. My dad had obviously been distraught after that hysteric conversation. He had been down in his office for a while, and he decided to come up and check on his kids while making a pot of coffee to take his mind off things. We were all supposed to be napping, and he thought he'd peek his head into our rooms and make sure we were safe, maybe to try to have a little smile and brightness added to his day. Sure enough, when my dad got to my room, I was fast asleep on my bed. He went to my brother's room, and he was also sleeping. Finally, he checks on my sister, who is sleeping as snugly as an angel. Smugly as an angel?
Just like...
Seem right. He decides to go back towards my room and into the kitchen to make some coffee. As he walks by my room, he notices a whimper. He turns around and enters my room, where he finds me weeping. I was 5 years old, so the way that I was crying seemed odd to him. Normally, a 5-year-old would cry drastically over dramatically. I wasn't. I was sitting up on the side of my bed, weeping. My dad enters my room and says, Maddie, what's up? Why are you crying? It's then that I stop crying for a moment, look up at him with teary eyes and say, Rick, it's not her fault. I love her. It's not her fault. With that, I stopped crying, rolled over back onto my bed, and fell swiftly back asleep. Needless to say, my dad shit his pants.
That's crazy.
That's creepy. That's so creepy.
Oh my God. Because, like, they were asleep. How would they know?
Yeah, no, it was like literally they were asleep, and so the spirit of Joe was like, let me see which one I can get in really quickly, and he was like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
jumped in. But it's really sad, but that was really creepy.
Yeah.
I would be like, for the rest of the time as my kid, I'd be like, hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Are you in there?
Yeah. He's like, Joe? Yeah, anytime they're asleep.
Joe! Joe! Like, huh?
That's not my name.
Yeah.
I'm Sam.
All right,
Yeah.
last one. When my daughter was around 4 or 5, we lived in a house that had been converted into 3 separate apartments. We lived in the basement portion. Because of the way they converted the house, there was a small recessed area under the stairway that had formed a small closet or storage space in her room. One night, while she was getting ready for bed, I overheard her talking to someone in her room. I poked my head in and asked if she was calling for me. In her words, she said, No, I was talking to the little boy who lives in my closet. He's dead.
Oh. Okay, sweetie.
Yeah.
Great. You're going to go to church in the morning.
And we're going to move next week.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fine?
Yep.
That's
Oh
it.
my God, I hate that.
And
He's dead.
He's dead. There's probably there's like so many more. Like, this one said, I jokingly asked, what's the best way to get a girlfriend? My 7-year-old daughter's response, tell her to be my girlfriend or she'll never see her parents again.
Okay, so we're gonna have that kid maybe talk to a few people.
Yep. Somebody else. So I shouldn't throw him in the fire, my 3-year-old daughter said, holding her baby brother for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is what.
Why don't you just give that baby back?
Yeah. Right here, right here, right here.
And that's like literally this whole thread is just people commenting. After reading through most of these, I've come to the conclusion that imaginary friends are in fact dead people.
You know what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. My 3-year-old daughter stood next to her newborn baby brother, looked at him for a while, and then turned and looked at me and said, Daddy, it's a monster. We should bury it.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to sleep. There isn't anything under your bed. He's behind you now.
Oh. Oh my God, the way I would like shit my pants. No. Mm-mm.
Yep. 5-year-old mommy, when you die, I want to put you in a glass jar so I can keep you and see you forever. To which the 6-year-old responds, that's stupid. Where are you going to find a jar that big?
I was like, you know what? That's a little bit sweet. Because what is an urn? You know?
What is an urn? And you know what? That should be a learning lesson right there. Sweetie, actually, there are these things called urns.
Yeah.
Now, what you'll do is you'll take my body and you'll burn it to ash.
Mhm.
It'll fit in this little jar.
Yeah. If you're lucky, you might get a tooth in there. Did I ever tell you, this is like completely off tangent, but it has to do with ashes. When my grandpa passed away, they had him cremated and we were going to spread his ashes on this mountainside. And to be fair, I think this story is funny. I've been told by multiple people that it's not funny.
Uh-huh.
My aunts and my uncles, they're like spreading the ashes, very emotional, and they like kind of throw it up in the air, and then a gust of wind catches, and it all just blows back onto them. So they're like coughing.
It's really funny.
So like me and my aunt Melissa were like dying laughing because like I don't really want to. I understand the sentimental value of it. I don't actually want to hold the ashes and throw them in the air. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'll let you guys do that.
Yeah.
Melissa was the same way. I'm okay. I'll let you do that. And then,
Yeah.
it was so funny. It was so funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Thank you for thinking it was funny.
I would also laugh pretty hard. I'd be like, damn, he just wanted to kiss you guys goodbye one more time.
Literally.
He's
He's always a part of you now because he's literally in your lungs.
It's like, oh my God, there's a scene in a movie that I'm thinking of where like somebody gets covered in like ash of a person and they like open their mouth and it like I don't know.
Yeah. There's some movie where they're like carrying him around in their ash in a coffee can and someone is like, yeah, you want coffee?
I feel like I vaguely remember that
I
too.
don't remember what that is. Yeah. Anyway.
If you enjoyed that little story, be sure to watch the full episode here. And make sure you like, subscribe, and all that jazzy.
Jazzy? I see what you did there.
Wait, what was that?